Welcome to this explainer. Okay, we've got to talk about what just went down in Houston because Cristiano Ronaldo absolutely silenced his critics and literally rewrote World Cup history during Portugal's massive 5-0 victory over Uzbekistan. I mean, this wasn't just a win, you guys. This was a powerful, undeniable statement from one of the greatest players to ever step on a pitch, delivered right on the grandest stage of the 2026 FIFA World Cup. To really appreciate this, you have to picture the atmosphere leading into the matchup. Portugal was heavily favored to dominate, right? But they had just stumbled out of the gate with a really disappointing 1-1 draw against the Democratic Republic of the Congo in their tournament opener. So immediately, across global media, the loudest, most aggressive question being asked was, can a 41-year-old legend actually still do this? Does he still have the legs, the pace, and that finishing touch to compete at the highest international level? The entire world was watching, and the scrutiny on this veteran was just immense. And let me tell you, Ronaldo heard every single bit of that noise. In a pretty candid post-match moment, he took those attacks head-on. He pointed out this painfully predictable narrative he's faced over his 23-year career. The second things go wrong, the default is to just say, oh, he's old, or he's basically retired. It's a stark reminder that these athletes absolutely hear the whispers. But instead of letting that negativity drag him down, his response, alongside his teammates, was absolute perfection out there. All right, moving on to Section 1, pressure and outside noise. Look at the sheer weight on this squad's shoulders going into the tournament. You've got a team absolutely stacked with global superstars. They're heavily tipped as World Cup contenders, and they're led by a captain with a record 145 international goals. That is an unimaginable level of expectation. But then, boom, reality crashes in. That 1-1 opening stumble against DR Congo didn't just cause a little disappointment, it ignited severe, immediate media pressure. There were super loud, very public calls demanding head coach Roberto Martinez actually bench his veteran captain for this critical second match. Let's dive into Section 2, a record-breaking brace. So what does manager Roberto Martinez do? He completely tunes out the critics and sticks with his guy. And stepping onto the pitch against an Uzbekistan squad managed by none other than Italy's 2006 World Cup winning captain Fabio Cannavaro, we definitely did not see a fatigued player. At exactly 41 years and then 138 days old, Ronaldo flat out defied Father Time. By finding the back of the net, he officially became the second oldest scorer in the entire history of the World Cup, sitting right behind the legendary Roger Milla, who did it for Cameroon at 42 years old way back in 1994. But wait, the history-making didn't stop there. With his early 6th-minute strike right off a brilliant cross from João Cancelo, he achieved something truly unprecedented. He became the first player ever to score in 6 consecutive World Cups. Just think about the magnitude of that for a second. That is nearly 2 decades of football at the absolute highest level, stretching all the way back to 2006. With this single goal, he officially surpassed Lionel Messi's World Cup scoring record across tournaments, letting out that trademark roar in front of nearly 69,000 completely electric fans. You'd think he'd be satisfied, right? Nope. Right before halftime, taking a pinpoint pass from Bruno Fernandes, Ronaldo coolly finished inside the near post for his second goal of the match. That specific strike brought his total World Cup tally to 10, and by hitting that incredible milestone, he officially passed the legendary Eusebio, who had 9, officially making Cristiano Ronaldo Portugal's all-time leading tournament scorer. Just unreal. Which brings us to Section 3, securing the rout. This 5-0 result wasn't just a win. It was a top-to-bottom dismantling of this debutant Uzbekistan side. Let's trace how it went down. It kicks off lightning fast at the 6-minute mark, with Ronaldo's historic close-range finish. Then, barely 11 minutes later, Nuno Mendes doubles it with a super clever free kick. And by the way, Ronaldo played a massive role as a decoy on that one. Now, Uzbekistan did have one fleeting moment of hope at the 30-minute mark when Aziz Janganiev hit an absolute screamer from distance, but a VAR review wiped it out due to a foul on Cancelo in the build-up. Huge sigh of relief for Portugal. By the 39th minute, Ronaldo secures his brace, making it 3-0 and totally crushing any comeback hopes. In the second half, Portugal's suffocating pressure forces a devastating own goal off Uzbekistan goalkeeper Abdulvahid Namatov at the 60-minute mark. And finally, in the 87th minute, substitute Rafael Leao thunders home a close-range finish from a Nelson Semedo cutback, putting the perfect icing on a 5-0 tactical masterclass. And that leads perfectly into Section 4, silencing the critics. The final whistle here wasn't just about putting 3 points on the board. It was about the squad's immense mental fortitude. Coach Roberto Martinez explicitly praised his team's discipline, pointing out how much they leveled up since that sluggish opener.
And what's really fascinating here is how rare it is for a manager to publicly acknowledge media noise instead of just pretending it doesn't exist. Martinez pointed out that the maturity in that dressing room allowed them to take all of that intense, negative scrutiny and actually flip it into positive fuel. It is literally a textbook example of veteran leadership stabilizing a team under immense global pressure.
Now for our final piece, Section 5, Group K Showdown awaits.
Because guess what? The job in the group stage is not over yet. Colombia secured a really hard-fought 1-0 victory over Congo DR, which means they currently sit alone at the top of Group K with a perfect 6 points. Portugal, armed with their opening draw and this massive win, sits right on their heels at 4 points. This perfectly sets the stage for an absolute blockbuster group decider this Saturday in Miami Gardens, Florida. It is a true winner-takes-all scenario for that crucial top seed.
Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer. Make sure to watch closely as this incredible World Cup narrative continues to unfold. Because with their confidence completely restored, their tactical rhythm found, and their veteran captain making literal history with every touch of the ball, we have to ask the big question. Can Portugal use this massive wave of momentum to conquer Colombia and snatch first place this Saturday? Or will Colombia spoil the party? I guess we'll find out soon.